Hey everybody, I'm Garth Webber, and you may not know that I've been a recording engineer for 40 years. You might just know me as a guitar player. So I want to talk today about recording the electric guitar through a real amplifier. The first thing is make sure that the sound coming out of the amp is a great sound. Don't think, well, we'll fix it later, we'll make it sound great later when we mix. That may not be possible. Do your due diligence and get that sound coming out of the amp to sound amazing if you possibly can. Go light on the effects. You can always add effects later. Don't put too much delay, too much reverb, because you can dial it in later. You can't take it away. Once it's there, it's there. You're stuck with it. Once you've got your sound and you're convinced that it's good, then you've got to mic it. Generally speaking, the industry standard for guitar amps is a Shure SM57. Let's see, I have one right here. You guys know this. By the way, this is what the President of the United States for many years has talked through. You wouldn't recognize it because there's always a windshield on it. But anyway, so put a 57 on, maybe a Royer R121. And here's how I like to place the mic. If it's just a 57, here's what I do. I don't mic the center of the cone. This is a top view of the speaker. I don't mic the center of the cone. I mic about halfway between the center and the edge. That way it's not too bright. Farther toward the center you go, the more trebly it is. The farther toward the edge you go, the duller the sound. So you just got to find that sweet spot, and once you find that, you'll have a nice balanced sound that will not fight you later when you go to mix. Take any guitar pedals that you're not using on that song, take them out of the circuit. If there's a wah pedal plugged in on your pedal board but you're not using it on that song, get it out of there, because you're losing a little bit of fidelity every time you go through a pedal, especially if it's not a true bypass. So if you're just using maybe a compressor pedal and an overdrive, just have those plugged in, then go straight into your amp. Be very careful with your settings, with the settings on the amp, settings on the guitar, settings on the pedals. Don't overcompress. Don't put too much overdrive on because you're going to get a lot of noise and stuff. And then once you got your sound dialed in and you've got it mic'd, all you need to do is get that signal to media, to your recorder, clean and dry. So I generally use an outboard mic pre. I use a WA73 at this point. It's a very nice sounding, warm sounding preamp. And I send that straight into the recorder. I don't go through any compressors. I don't go through any processing because, as I said before, you can't get rid of the processing once you've done it. When you go to mix, you can add as much delay, reverb, tremolo, whatever you want to add. And if you decide you don't like it, you can take it off. That's essentially it. It's just getting a good sound out of the amp, getting a good mic on that, placing the mic properly, and sending that signal in a pure, clean form to your recorder. If you do that, you'll be way ahead of the game. You will not have made many of the mistakes that a lot of guitar players make, where they overprocess, they don't mic the amp properly, they don't dial in the amp properly. You got to be fastidious about this because every knob matters. All the knobs on the guitar matter, all the knobs on the pedals matter, all the knobs on the amp matter. So if you do that, I think you're going to be okay. Hope that helps.